Hey guys, Brendan here. Today I thought I'd talk about the Strait of Hormuz again and why it's just not looking good right now. So we've had a lot of talks right now with a ceasefire between Iran and the United States, and then either or country going against that ceasefire in the matter of hours or even days. And so we keep hearing about this deal that's going to happen, and then the Strait of Hormuz is going to open up if the U.S. Manages to acquire the enriched uranium that Iran has, whether that's the true story or not. And even if it does end, like, we're still kind of screwed when it comes to fertilizer making its way around the globe and getting to farmers, so that way they can start putting it on their crops, and then we can have a healthy growing season. But it just doesn't seem like that's going to be happening, because even if the Strait of Hormuz opens up tomorrow, and it's right now it's at the end of May, so June is just around the corner. It's 6 days away or so, and even if that were to happen, it would take about a month maybe for all the fertilizer to get to where it needs to go. And usually in late June to July, like before like it gets really hot consistently, you can't put fertilizer on the ground or on crops during that time. The crops are just not going to get what they need in terms of nutrients for the first part of the growing season. Now, I know fertilizer gets sprayed onto the crops and vegetation all throughout the season, but this is such bad timing, because farmers, like, even though the prices of food have gone up over the years, farmers are getting squeezed right now. Their margins are they've already been thin, and they just get thinner, and they're the ones who take the hit financially if the prices of their inputs go up. This is going to be it is going to be the most expensive growing season for so many farmers. Like, even with fertilizer making it out to the farmers at some point, their yields are going to be lower. And because they have lower yields and the costs are so much more expensive, a lot of these farmers are just going to enter bankruptcy, and they're starting to right now. And they're also starting to abandon entire crops too. So this is the start of a downtrend kind of force where we're going to start losing our farmers, and we're going to start losing our source of food. And you know what made the human race so successful compared to every other species on Earth is our ability to grow our own food and outsource to other people. And all that does is it gives us more time to do other things. So the fact that so many people don't actually grow their own food, and they just go to the supermarket and they just let farmers grow the food, those people are then able to go out into the broader economy and start creating other forms of wealth, and have all these different sectors, all these different jobs, and that's where the economy comes from. And so if people can no longer afford to buy food or even have food in general, they're going to either starve to death or just starve overall, or they're going to end up growing their own food. And then that takes time away from them and what they could provide to society. And then that's when we really start to see financial markets break down, societies crumble. Like, we're just in a really bad spot right now. The thing is, like, this season for growing is probably going to be the worst on record, if not very close. And that'll create a even worse scenario for next year's planting and harvesting, because there'll be even less farmers out there growing food. This is like I like to be optimistic here, but man, the signs out there are not looking good. And so if you want to look at financially, we'll probably see like a financial crisis in the future And if you're prepared to take advantage of that, great. But for the most part, I think people need to be more on the defensive side here. And I'll give you a few examples here. Like, I have a freeze dryer at home, and I also have a pressure canner and a water bath canner. And so I've learned how to can both methods, and I know how to freeze dry food if need be. That's what people are going to have to do. They're going to have to learn these skills in order to preserve food, but then also learn how to grow food in the coming years, because we're looking at a time where all these food banks, like I live in Canada, and food banks are having such a hard time sourcing food right now that they're already on the brink, and this situation is just going to get worse for them. And what really bugs me is that even though we're going to see like a drastic increase in the price of food, and also not just food, but the plastics that cover the food, make up the bags, the packaging, all that's going to be affected because, well, plastic is made from hydrocarbons. And then also we're going to see problems with diesel in terms of transporting the food and then also growing the food. All this is going to be termed as inflation, when in reality it's supply shock. And I'm one to believe Milton Friedman's term for inflation, where he says inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. And that's what makes sense to me, Inflation is too broad of a term to encompass all these different problems in the economy that determine the price of things. Whereas the term inflation is more accurate to the inflation of the currency supply and then the deflation of the currency supply. But anyways, people are going to blame it on inflation when really the problem here is to do with the supply of these hydrocarbons to markets. So yeah, I don't really like to give advice all that much, but what I will say is I definitely recommend people start to learn how to preserve food and properly store it, along with being able to grow your own food. Just because these times, with with the giant population that we have, somewhere around 8-9 billion, we're barely even able to support that population right now. Just imagine how it's going to be down the road when farmers are no longer growing like they used to, or at all, and fertilizers are not being used at the same rates as they were before. So yeah, because food security is one of the most important things to our race and just our society. And if people don't have food in their bellies, that's when things are gonna get batshit crazy. So yeah, be prepared for the future. And yeah, if you like this video, please like it, share it with anyone you think would find this information helpful. Subscribe to the channel so you don't keep missing out content like this, and I will see you guys in the next one.